threes, guys not focused on the play at the end of the game. Well, all they needed on Saturday night to win that game against the Packers at home was an onside kick, a big fourth down conversion to an undrafted free agent for a touchdown, and an overtime bomb that sent the city of Chicago into utter pandemonium. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. This is Unsportsmanlike. I'm Aaron Goldhammer. He is Emmett Golden. We're in for Evan Canty and Michelle as we get this holiday week going. And boy, they have been partying, Emmett, in Chicago ever since Caleb Williams hit DJ Moore for the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, hey, listen, let me be the first to say I was one of the people that was skeptical of Caleb Williams. I was like, is he really that good? Is he okay? Is he average? I didn't know. He's been great this year.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons he's been so good is they haven't asked him to win every game with his arm.
Yeah.
They're just asking him, make some plays when we need plays to be made, and throwing a touchdown pass in overtime. Oh, by the way, putting your hands in your pocket while the ball is still in the air. Baller move. Yeah, I got to give, salute to him on that. That was an amazing play.
Confidence is so important in sports. They took a guy whose confidence last year, I think, was completely shattered in Caleb Williams, and turned him into a star, gave him the swagger that made him the Heisman Trophy winner and the #1 pick in the draft, because he is uber talented. I mean, a unique thrower of the football and mover as well, to be able to run and pick up some first downs, etc. But I think your point is so right on about quarterback messiahs, about guys. They expected him to be the #1 pick, come in and just completely save the franchise. They hadn't had a franchise quarterback. Sid Luckman was wearing leather helmets when Caleb Williams, before Caleb Williams was the last franchise QB of the Bears.
And C.J. Stroud's performance in his rookie year, and even Jaden Daniels hurt that, right? They went, hey, those guys did it.
Yeah, why aren't you taken up to
right?
So what Ben Johnson did is he established a culture and an identity for how they wanted to go and win. They were going to be a physical team. They were going to be a tough team. And they were going to ask their second-year quarterback to make a couple of plays a game. And now, all of a sudden, Emmett, he's so confident he's doing the things they thought he was going to do to start his rookie year here in year 2. He's not in the MVP conversation, but, Emmett, he got me believing for the first time on Saturday night that the Bears – A, are going to win this division, okay? B, are going to get some home playoff action, and then C, if things fall right for them, that they could actually be a dangerous January team, when I thought for them just getting to the playoffs would be an amazing step.
Yeah, I think this is a great year for them. Now, I am a believer, and you've heard me say this a million times, is you got to get there and lose to know what it takes to get there and win. So I'd be blown away if they make it to the Super Bowl, right? I think that's a lot to ask of this team, but I could definitely see them winning a playoff
Let me ask them or New England, which one would surprise you more with the two second-year quarterbacks?
Surprise me more, probably
the Bears.
Probably the Bears, and I wish I had a great reason. I wish I had a great reason, but I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, you think it's a coaching quarterback league? The Bears and Patriots were, laughing stocks a couple years ago. They get the right coach, Ben Johnson and Vrabel. They get the right quarterback, Drake May and Caleb Williams, and all of a sudden, boom, there you go. Speaking of this, Ben Johnson's post-game speeches in the locker room have inspired me, Emmett, to want to run through a wall a couple of times this year.
Got you turned up, huh?
He was at the podium on Saturday night as they were partying in the streets on Michigan Avenue.
This is a special group. I felt that early in the season. You get with some of those wins, the Raiders game and, the Washington game, and you start feeling it, the belief in this group. I'm talking about coaches and players combined. It's rare. And I can't say enough good things about the people in this building. Man, they're mentally tough. They're physically tough. I know we're going to fight you for 60 minutes. And even though the odds are against us there that late, we're going to keep on swinging and make some plays when we needed to. So I couldn't be more proud of the group. I mean, I'm very fortunate to be in the position I'm in, coaching these guys, and not something I take for granted.
Emmett, the Bears have been incredible this year in one-score games, okay? They have a couple of what I would call miracle wins. The Cincinnati Colston Loveland bouncing off a 5 Cincinnati Bengals touchdown. And then this game on Saturday night, have they been a lucky team, or is there some skill in your mind baked into winning close games like this?
I think you make your own luck. I really do. You know, if you're in the right places, if you do what you're supposed to do, there's a saying about preparation and luck and all of that, which I don't know. I should have probably known it before I brought it up. But it's something to that effect.
Fortune favors the bold, is it?
Sure.
Hold on.
Yeah, whatever.
Let me
tomato, whatever.
You finish that point. Let me step to the internet and see if I can figure this out.
You know, I think lucky teams make their own luck. Now, I will like to point out that they won a game at home against a rival the team didn't have, and the team being the Green Bay Packers, didn't have their quarterback for the entire game.
Or their stud pass rusher who's out with a massive ACL injury. And I think if the Packers have either one of those guys, they probably find a way to win. Emmett, I was impressed with Malik Willis.
Yeah.
I mean, man, I thought they adjusted but so many things went right for Green Bay in that game up until they did not. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity.
There it is. There it is. I knew it was something like that.
Is that what you were going for?
That's exactly what I was looking for.
Emmett, do you now worry that the Packers are just too injured, that they're not going to be able to maximize their full potential? They've had Christian Watson injury issues. They have Josh Jacobs injury issues. Micah Parsons is done. And now Jordan Love, I don't know how much time he's going to miss. I don't think it's going to be like into the playoffs, but certainly these are a couple of key weeks where they're not going to have their quarterback.
No, they're not, and they're right there holding on to that last playoff spot right now. So we'll see if they can even finish, the job and qualify for the playoffs. But it's tough, man. When you lose one of the best defensive players in the entire league and your franchise quarterback during the game, it's tough to overcome that and get the win. And I don't mean to take away any credit from the Bears. That's not what I'm trying to accomplish here. But I mean, you're at home, you get to overtime, you gotta feel great, knowing that they have Malik Willis at quarterback and not Jordan Love.
Yeah, the onside kick, Emmett, was, I thought, the under-discussed play of this game.
Yeah.
The Bears kind of botched the clock before the 2-minute warning. They took too long for Cairo Santos to get on the field to attempt a field goal to make it a 7-point game, which meant then they had to go onside kick. Emmett, an onside kick is an 8% play in the NFL in this day and age.
That was that 8%.
And there's some teams, boy, we watch one in Cleveland, that is just, they're miserable special teams. Yeah. The Green Bay Packers are an awful special teams team. And that ball bounces right off of Romeo Doubs' chest and ends up in the arms of the Chicago Bears. Emmett, those are the little things. I hate to sound like a coach that make a difference between winning and losing, and I thought, man, this was kind of a miracle win for Chicago, but Romeo Doubs has to make that play and fall on that football, and then we're not even having this conversation today.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes teams just have seasons where all the things break their way, and maybe that's just what Chicago.
The Bears are having
because to your point, like that's a play you typically see a guy make on special teams when the ball comes at him, they secure it, game over, and we're talking about the Packers right now. And what they could do in the playoffs as opposed to the Bears.
Emmett, obviously Minnesota is toast. It looks like the Lions, who we talked about, are not going to make the playoffs. They're one of the most disappointing teams in all of football.
Yeah.
We thought it was the best division. Two teams are going to make it likely. Green Bay with that weird tie, as a wild card team, and now Chicago, it appears, as a division champion, going to be getting home games, and it appears that there are 3 teams in the NFC West. Niners, who play on Monday Night Football tonight, along with Seahawks and Rams, who are going to be playoff teams in the NFC. Remaining schedule for Green Bay, they have the Ravens in Green Bay next week, and I don't know what's going on with Lamar Jackson and with Baltimore and whether they still feel like they have a chance here. And then they go to Minnesota, where they'll likely be facing, I don't know, Max Brosmer or somebody, at the last week of the season. So I think Green Bay is okay for a playoff spot, but I think that this division now is going to be won by the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, well, I mean, that game against the Ravens could be a tough one because will both teams not have their quarterbacks? Or will, if Lamar plays and Jordan Love doesn't, and by the way, the Ravens desperately need to win the last 2 games of the season if they want to make the playoff. They're not out of it yet, but they got to win out. That puts the Packers in a tough situation.
Earlier on Saturday, we watched college football playoff action.
Yeah.
Texas A&M and Miami in one of the ugliest, sloppiest, I guess it was close, college football playoff games you'll ever
wins
seen.
championships. I told you.
Yeah, well, throwing interceptions with the game on the line does not win championships for Marcel Reed. A&M losing at home. Miami advances. They'll play Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. After that loss at home to Miami, Texas A&M going to have to bounce back next year like it never even happened, which is brought to you by ServPro, the #1 choice in cleanup and restoration. Coming up next, oh gosh, they're going to make us talk about what happened here in Cleveland yesterday.
Yeah.
The Bills are going to the playoffs, and folks, the Browns are not. Hammer and Emmett filling in for Evan, Canty, and Michelle. This is Unsportsmanlike. You're watching on ESPN2 and ESPNU. You can listen on SiriusXM Channel 80.